Yo, it's Kyle, another video, and the title of this video is Nobody Respects an Emotionally Weak Man. And what I mean by that, got my tea here. So the title of that video can be polarizing, and you think emotions aren't a bad thing, which they're not. As a man, being in touch with your emotions is healthy. Being able to express your emotions is healthy. But emotionally weak men, that is not what you want to be. And what I mean by that is, there's a certain type of man, and you all know these type of people. And I have been that man at times where I haven't been able to control my emotions. Maybe I was tired, I had a long week, and somebody threw me off, or let's say in my early years, a girl, especially like in high school or something, where I'm talking to a girl and she cancels on me, or she's taking a while to text back and I get emotional and I'm double texting, or she cancels a date and I'm like, I don't think I ever would call out, but I'd be emotional, I'd be upset, you said you're gonna hang out with me. Anyway, something like that, as a man in their masculine energy, you should be able to control that. You should be in control of your emotions. And if people could throw you off that easily simply by not texting you back, simply by rescheduling a date, or making a rude comment, and you handle it in a bad way where you get very angry, you get very emotional, you start yelling over little things. There are times where rage and high emotions are necessary, but when you could be triggered that easily, when you're easily triggered, that is weakness, and nobody respects that. We all know managers that we've had, if you've worked jobs before and you have managers that are thrown off easily, get stressed out easily, and it's hard for people to follow that type of leader because they're not leading. Because if you, the one in charge, can't handle your emotions, and you can't handle stress, you can't handle situations that arise in the workplace, people aren't going to respect you. They're not going to be able to follow you, and they're going to follow your lead and become stressed out. But that's why in job interviews they ask you, how do you handle stress? How do you handle this stressful situation? How do you deal with difficult coworkers? Things of that nature. Because being able to be grounded, being able to stay put, stay calm in those situations is power. And it is also an attractive quality, just like it is an unattractive quality to be too emotional, not only to the opposite sex, but to everyone else. It's attractive to be calm, to be cool, to be collected, to be in control of your emotions. Just recently, I went on a date with a girl. This was over a month ago. She was kind of trauma dumping on me, telling me about how she hates, her family, her exes. It didn't go poorly, but I just knew I was going to hang out with this woman again. We stayed in contact, but I was like, okay. I tested the vibe out, the vibe wasn't there. Just this weekend, I get a message on Instagram from this guy saying, stay away from so-and-so. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, just stay away from her. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And he said, I see you guys are talking. She's bad news. She's satanic. She's manipulative. And at first I was like, okay, maybe this guy was manipulated and fucked over by this woman. But the more messages he sent me, the more emotional and more of like a bitch he sounded. He just sounded like he couldn't control his emotions. He sounded like, I got the story from her, and she said that they were sleeping together for a couple months, weren't anything official, and she wanted to pursue being a tattoo artist, and that made him upset because he became needy, he became emotional, and he was like, oh, you're gonna be around men, you're gonna fuck all these men, you're being such a whore, I don't want you doing that. And then she broke up with him, which in turn he became emotional. And she showed me a bunch of texts that he was sending to her friends, her family, just acting so needy, acting so emotional because this woman broke up with him. And he was sending me all these things. I was fucking her last week. We were sleeping together. She screwed me over. She's manipulative. And I was like, okay, bro, I didn't even do anything with her. I'm gonna stay away. And he just kept saying, oh, enjoy her crusty ass, and just said all these things. I'm like, man, this guy is just so emotional. This guy can't control his emotions. And he was looking for validation in this woman. And because he was being needy and being controlling and being insecure, and she broke up with him, he just started spiraling out. He was looking for validation in other people, and he couldn't control his emotions. And she doesn't respect him. I don't respect him. I'm sure nobody in his life that is hearing about this respects him. It's just sad, and you got to be in control of your emotions. And there are times where you will be angry. There are times where you'll be upset. But you got to be the master of that. You have to be grounded in yourself, be grounded in your masculinity. You can't let people throw you off your course that easily. That is part of being a man. That is part of being a powerful man, being an inspirational man, being a good leader. Those are good leadership qualities that not only men can possess, but also women can possess if they are in positions of power. You don't want a boss that is very overly emotional, that can't control themselves, that are easily startled, easily thrown off. Nobody respects you. And if people don't respect you, they can't follow you. They don't find you attractive, so this will affect your dating life. This will affect your professional life. People just view you as just a little bitch, you know? They're not gonna respect you. And I've been like that before. And I realized that I had to become more grounded in myself. I had to do the deep work, do the meditation, do the reading, do the research, spend time with myself, and not take everything so personally. Because a lot of people are living in apathy, a lot of people are not happy with themselves, and you just got to look at their misery and not take it personally. And also when it comes to dating, you have to adopt an abundance mindset. You can't let, let's say as an example, I've been seeing people, and there was a woman that we hung out once, and then we set up a date and she rescheduled. I said, okay, that's fine. We set up another date and she rescheduled, but she was nice about it, gave me reasoning, and she gave me another date to hang out. And instead of becoming needy, instead of becoming, oh my God, we were supposed to hang out tonight, what am I gonna do? She was gonna validate me, she was gonna fulfill my needs. I said, okay, sure, let's hang out this day instead. And even if, after that third time, she was to cancel or flake again, eventually I wouldn't show emotional weakness. I will just end it, be like, you know what, maybe it isn't gonna work out, because there are other fish in the sea. I don't just put one woman on a pedestal and hope that she'll validate me, she'll make me happy, she'll make me full. But because I stayed grounded, I stayed cool, we were able to reschedule and we had a good time. And she was even telling me on this date that we had, this second date, about why she broke up with a couple of her exes. And one of them, he was needy, he was emotional. They were dating for 4 months, she told me. And he was like, are we gonna get married? Are we gonna have kids? Are we gonna move in together? After 4 months, he was pursuing the relationship like a woman should. He was trying to push it forward 4 months in. And after that, she said they were at a party, a little bit drunk. After that discussion, he stormed out and he punched a stop sign. He was punching light post, and she lost respect for him. She viewed that man as weak. Like, man, just a discussion about having kids 4 months into a relationship, about getting married, and I say I'm not ready for that. He gets all angry, he gets all emotional, he starts hitting things, he starts slamming things. That is not the man that I want to raise my children. That is not the man that I want to be with. And she was no longer attracted to him, and they broke up a week later. Just another example of how if you can't be in control of your emotions, you got to fix that. It's going to benefit you in all aspects of your life, in your relationships, in your professional life. Being that man that is grounded, that is calm, that is cool, that is collected, that could look at the shitstorm and say, okay, let's do this. That could take shit tests from women and not get thrown off, could hold their ground. A woman could reschedule. She could be like, you're a loser, you're lame. You know, women will do this. The more they like you, they'll test you to see, is he really confident or is he put on an act? And if she could test you and see that, man, he's cool with himself, he doesn't need my validation, that attraction will just become deeper and she'll want to be with you. Anyway, that's all I got for today's video. Peace.